So here we have some various forms of assessments based around my objective from last unit, which is students demonstrating understanding of logos, pathos, and ethos. So the first two of these I took from 10 assessments you can perform in 90 seconds by Terry Hick, and that's from teachthought.com, which is a pretty fun site, pretty straightforward. Gives you 10 really straightforward examples for ways to assess students. And the ones that I picked are in particular self-directed response. So the task is for students to show in pretty much any way that they feel comfortable with, diagram, picture, words, or concrete, perhaps humorous examples. Humor is always a good way to make sure students are having fun. They have to pretend that they're going to teach someone else what ethos, pathos, and logos are, and then share it with a peer. So this is an example from teachthought.com. I wrote this course of a song I've been thinking of what would explain this character's motivation. In this case, it could be, I was telling my little brother how to steal cookies effectively from the cookie jar without our parents finding out, or getting out of trouble once our parents found out. And so I told him he needed to use ethos, pathos, and logos, and here's an example of each. Something fun like that. Rationale here would be that students, when they have more choice, are more interested. They can express their learning in a variety of ways, whatever works to them, a visual style or something. Music related if they want to do that, or they can write it if they're more into writing. Why to share with somebody else is you have students interacting with each other and learning from each other, and the task here is differentiated in that they get to pick how they're going to express their understanding. Explaining what matters. So what I liked about this one from teachthought.com is that you get to explain the most critical part of logos, pathos, and ethos to anyone that they select as their audience, and it has to be short, 2 or few sentences. So this might be something you want to do as an exit ticket on the way out. The example they had from this particular site was about Jay-Z. Thesis statement is kind of like a hook or title of one of your songs. The audience part, that it can be anyone, that again is differentiated, gives student choice. It's an entertaining way to show learning, which is fun for them, while at the same time it does show that they're grasping the topic. The third formative assessment that I picked, all of these are meant to be quick too, because formative assessments are just to show overall understanding rather than get really deep and delve into a topic. I also watched this video from our site by, there's our rubric for this assignment. And what I really liked about this particular video was all the different, it shows a bunch of subjects, and Wormelli's video gives us a sense of how you could apply formative assessments in a variety of subjects. So the final example, the third assessment that I picked is from 25 Quick Assessments for a Differentiated Classroom by Judith Dodge. Great document. I recommend it if you haven't looked at it. It talks in the beginning about why to use formative assessments and the importance of differentiating those. And then it's just got a ton of examples, which is really fun. So I don't know if I can show those to you or not on the screencast. But the one I picked here is just simply that all students have a dry erase board. Everyone has a marker, and then I read them an example of either logos, pathos, or ethos, and not telling them what it is, and then they have to write an L, a P, or an E on their board to hold it up. They could also consult in pairs before they hold up their answers, or work in pairs. So an example of a teacher question might be, in my argument about abolishing the death penalty, I tell the story of Joe Smith, a man wrongly tried and convicted for murder and sentenced to death. I go into great detail about a warm and gentle man Joe was and how this law wronged him. The hints being right here that we are trying to elicit sympathy, pathos, some sort of reaction emotionally from our readers. So that would be a great, not as differentiated, although it's in the assessments for a differentiated classroom, but it does give us a quick sense of the rationale for this one. It gives us a quick sense of who's on board and who's not, while at the same time providing the kids with concrete examples of this. So, this was an image that I found for number 1, where they get to find any way they want to express their understanding. This would obviously be a drawing that has an example of each. And this site, lessonplans.inc, talks about checks for understanding and cautions against the typical teacher faux pas of just asking a question and getting one response. He or she who processes fast, that student will be the one who answers. So they say formative assessments such as the whiteboards, index cards, or clickers are good ways to check that everybody's on board, not just the student who raises their hand fastest. So there we go. There are my 3 examples of forms of assessment that I could use to achieve this particular objective. And I hope you found it entertaining. Thanks.